Welcome to Blossoming Balance Virtual Workshop. I'm Yoga Dan, and I'm happy to be here with you today. This workshop's all about balance. Balance is a great aspect of our lives, of our yoga practice. Balance is something that needs to be utilized. It is something that needs to be used. It's basically has this aspect of use it or lose it. So we have to challenge the balance. It's very important to challenge the balance. And every day, balance is a part of your life. You know, you eat too much of this, you eat too little of that. We're always balancing our lives in different aspects, whether it's through our daily practices, our habits, our values, all those things. So we're always constantly in a state of balance. Our bodies have to maintain a certain level of balance, or things start to shut down and mess up. So balance is extremely important. You can blossom balance. You can grow your balance by creating practices and different habits to help you along your way with balance. So today's workshop is all about just giving you a few ideas that you could take home with you and start to develop your balance, whether you want deeper, longer balance poses in your yoga practice, or you just want to have a more balanced lifestyle off the mat. All this will help you. It's important to understand that we often hold a lot of self-limiting beliefs. We tend to think that I'm not flexible enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. And those self-limiting beliefs can really hinder us in our practice. So I want you to try to take note of this, try to remember this, and I invite you to try to manifest this within you, is just to let go of any sort of self-limiting belief that you may have. Now, I know that there are some limitations in our practices, and we know those in our bodies, but just let go of these limited beliefs and move more into opportunity. Move more into hope. Move more into just your imagination. It's okay to imagine things. Your imagination can be a very powerful part of your practice. If you want to float up into the air and do headstands and float, fly, jump, all these things, imagine it. Begin to imagine it. Begin to create this reality in your head. Imagine it so much that it becomes your reality. Even if it isn't physically manifested yet, you just believe it within you. That is a sure fold path to actually manifesting it within your life. So letting go of self-limiting beliefs, moving more into an inspirational way of thinking, and just being open to the possibilities. Understanding that balance must be challenged. The body does very well under stress. So we must challenge the balance as much as we possibly can. And life will do that for you. You can run and hide all you want, but no matter what, life is going to stress you out and challenge you, because that is the teacher. That is the growth. It helps us to grow. The yearning is the teacher. The stress, the falling, the hardships, the challenges that we face are like storms that come in they do some damage, and then they leave, and then we grow stronger. So we need these kind of things in our life. They're meant to be there. It is not something that is just individually experienced. It is a shared experience, all of it, shared. So remember, the teacher of balance is falling. We must take that plunge over and over again. We must. A little bit about myself. I've been practicing yoga for 4 years now, physical asana, but I have been into the more spiritual forms of yoga for my entire adult life, bhakti yoga in particular. And I have felt many, like most people, I have fallen many a times. And at one point I fell to a rock bottom place where I did not know if I could get back up. And I stayed there for a long time. And I eventually figured out that I needed to do asana. So I started to do a physical yoga practice. And that physical yoga practice had this kinetic link to all my spiritual yoga that I've been doing for so long. And it just it was like a lightning bolt, and it just clicked. And I started this transformational healing process. I changed my identity. I changed who I was. I completely blossomed into a new person. And that transformation is still taking place. Yoga is a tool. It is a medicine. It is a lifestyle. It is many things. One thing it is not is an ego boost. And people use it for that way, but eventually if you have a serious yoga practice, you'll see that the ego begins to melt away. And you are more in a place of sincere love for yourself, for your others, for your life. So I invite you to just come at all this with an open mind and see how it goes for you. Coming to a seated position, we will start with a veloma breathing exercise. This exercise is extremely important to balance. So if you want to begin to balance your life, you want to begin to balance on the mat more, we must learn to balance the breathing system. The breathing system is absolutely extremely important. You can go a time without food, a week or so, maybe 2, depending. Maybe eat some sun instead, sun gaze. But you can go a time without food. You can go a bit without water, a couple days, whatever. You can't go long at all without the breath. How long can you go without the breath? Before you're just craving it, before your body is freaking out, right? The breath is the most important aspect of our lives. It is our life blood. It is our life force. Very special, very sacred. And we don't normally understand this. We take it for granted. We don't really think about our breath. So it is extremely wise to focus on the breath. It is actually a very ancient, esoteric type of work that can lead to extreme transformation within the body. And those ancient teachings, modern science today are finding that those ancient teachings are all true, completely legit. And so it seems that our modern day science is now finally catching up to all this esoteric yogic philosophy in breathing pranayama, kriyas, and techniques that can completely fine-tune the system. So, sit up nice and tall. We will begin with breathing, balancing the breathing system, and then moving on to a more physical practice of balance. Begin to breathe in and out through the nostrils, long, steady, rhythmic breathing. If you know your ujjayi breath, the contraction in the back of the throat, feel free to begin with ujjayi. So you have two options. You can breathe through the mouth or the nostrils. Preferred breathing through the nostrils. Long, steady, rhythmic breathing. Just breathing through the nostrils normally. You will be breathing through the tips of your nostrils. You'll feel the oxygen coming in through the tips of the nostrils. Right? Yes, you can agree with me on that. And then, if you want to try ujjayi breath, victorious breathing, Victoria, breath of victory, you will contract the back of the throat. So the inhalation is now coming from the back of the throat rather than the tips of the nostrils. It will sound like waves of an ocean crashing onto your consciousness. It could sound like whispers. So just play around with the breathing through the nostrils. See if you can switch it up. Switch to breathing and feeling the inhalation through the tips of the nostrils, and then switch it up to see if you can feel the inhalation through the back of the throat, the contraction, the ujjayi breath. When you do the ujjayi breath, you have this way of feeling the breath now. You add substance to the breath, texture. And now you can see the breath, hear the breath. And by seeing the breath, I mean visualize the breath, the inhale, the exhale. See it in your mind. Use your imagination. Breathing in and out through the nostrils. Together as one, we inhale, fully expanding the lungs. And then we exhale, releasing. Continue like this. Working with veloma, against the grain, we will be taking pauses within the inhale. So we will inhale all the way to the top of the lungs, and somewhere in between there we'll take a pause, and then we will exhale, release. So as you're breathing, just notice as you inhale, there might be this against the grain type sensation, this a little bit of a working to expand those lungs. And then as you exhale, maybe perhaps you notice this spiraling, this just free fall release. And then perhaps you notice a slight pause when you get to the top of the inhale. Pause. And then you exhale and you release. And at the bottom of that exhale, perhaps you notice a slight pause, a space. And as you breathe like this, perhaps you notice this space between thoughts and feelings, sensations. We're noticing the stamba, the pause, between breaths, between thoughts. Inhaling, paraka, fully with your whole body, top of the lungs. Vichaka, exhale, release, let something go. Heaviness, let it go. Inhaling, your entire upper torso, abdomen, ribs, chest, expand. Exhale, release, let it go. Inhale, abdomen, ribs, chest to the top. Exhale, release, let something go. Inhaling. Halfway, take a pause, however long is comfortable. And then finish all the way to the top of the lungs. Exhale, release. Inhale, take a pause. And then finish expanding all the way to the top. Exhale, release, all the way down. Let something go. Inhale, halfway, pause. Find space. All the way to the top. Exhale, release. Keep moving with the breath, taking the pauses at your own pace. Adding now to our Viloma exercise, I want you to see if you can take 2 pauses within that inhale, and then make it to the top, and then exhale, release. So you'll inhale, pause. Inhale some more, take a pause. Finish expanding to the top. Exhale, release. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. And exhale, release. Let something go. Keep breathing like this now with 2 pauses within the inhale. And with every exhale, you're grounding down into your sit bones, always rooting and establishing that lotus throne, that easy cross-leg throne. We will take 3 pauses. Take an inhale and just take a sip of breath. Pause. Another sip. Pause. Thirds. Sip and pause all the way to the top. Exhale, release. Again, inhale, thirds, pause. Inhale, thirds, pause. Inhale, 1/3, pause to the top. Exhale, release, let something go. Inhale, sip, pause. Inhale, sipping, pause. Take a sip, inhale, pause. Exhale, release, let something go. Inhale. Little sips, thirds, at your own breath, your own pace. The breath is merely sensation. Thoughts, the feelings, all sensation. It's playing with the patterns of sensation, wielding them to our own advantage. And then we will pause 4 times. Little sips, pause, little sip, pause, sip and pause, sip and pause to the top. Richaka, exhale, release. Let something go. Keep moving like this with the breath. 4 pauses all the way to the top. And then you will exhale. Allow yourself to release. Now we will just take the 3 pauses. Inhale, a little pause. Inhale, 1/3. Inhale, 1/3. Exhale, release. Now just inhale twice. 2 pauses now within the inhale. We inhale, pause. Inhale, we pause to the top. Exhale, release. Now just 1 pause. Inhale halfway, find the space. Break the breath. Inhale to the top. Exhale, release. Find Ujjayi breath, just normal breathing, yogic breath through the nostrils. Notice the balance of the inhale and the exhale. Notice the strength in your body and your breath.